Welcome to the Mystic Access Podcast, where the magic is in learning.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Robert Acosta speaking, the chair of Accessible World in Tek Talk, and we're here on Monday, October 17, 2016, and we have some great friends here this evening, always exciting. Every time I listen to them, I say, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm going to really be good. And then what happens? I hear something, I have to have it. Mystic Access is excited to share their newly released and upcoming audio tutorials and products with the Tek Talk audience. Have you ever wondered how to get the most out of the Google suite of products, including Google Docs, Drive, and Sheets, I guess it is, among others? Would you like to be guided step by step through the setup and use of your fourth generation Apple TV? Or would you like to discover how to use a television with speaking menus, a speaking guide, and accessible setup? Does a fun and comprehensive tutorial on the brand new Apple Watch suit your fancy? Or how about some comfortable and versatile Bluetooth headphones with built-in speech and one of our audio tutorials to teach you how to use them in many circumstances? Thank you for coming to Mystic Access, and we want you to join our team, Chris Grabowski, Kim Loftus, and Lisa Salinger, as they debut new products and tutorials hot off the presses and share about some soon-to-be-released goodies with you as well. Your questions will be welcome during the presentation. You may contact Mystic Access via phone at 716-543-3323 or email at info@mystic-access.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited to present to you our great Mystic Access team. Welcome to Tek Talk. And I think we're ready to go.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for that introduction, Bob. This is Chris Grabowski, and we are going to take turns talking about the different products that we're involved in. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is the Google Suite of Products audio tutorial. Now, this is a whirlwind audio tutorial that takes you through the use of Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Hangouts, and even a comparison of using Google Chrome with JAWS, NVDA, and Chromevox. Using this tutorial, it's broken up into a few different sections, and each screen reader in the tutorial is announced with a different voice so that you know what's being used at the time. For example, JAWS is using Microsoft David, NVDA is using Zara from Microsoft, and the Chromevox, when using Chrome and Chromevox, that is the British English British English male voice from Google. Also, we demonstrate how to use these products on a Chromebook, on iOS, on Android, and even on the Mac. Now, having said that, again, this is a whirlwind tutorial, so it goes from beginning to end, and it builds upon your skills. Like, for example, in the Drive section, you do file management. We use Windows Explorer to connect to Google Drive, and then we go to using Google Drive within the web browser, so that most people are going to want to do that and view their files or send links or share or collaborate. All that stuff is covered within the duration of this tutorial. The also the thing about this specific tutorial, it's such a whirlwind, is because this is a product that one of our customers wanted. We offer custom tutorials, and this customer said, I want this, and even this. Basically, everything in the kitchen sink. So it was my job to make that happen for her, and I was sending her updates along the way, sending her samples of the tutorial, and then on Friday she got the finished product. I spent the weekend putting the finishing touches on the tutorial, which would be the DAISY of the tutorial. So not only is it an MP3, it's not just a group of MP3s, it's also a DAISY digital talking book. And I wanted to pass it off to Kim so that she can talk about what she's been working on. Hold tight.
We'll do it, no problem. And then, of course, November 7th and 14th, we have stocking stuffers with our vendors that we do each year, just to fill in for a second. And the 21st, we had a lady who wanted a full thing on Dropbox. I thought it was fairly easy, but what do I know? Yeah, there might be something that she wanted. John and Larry Gassman are going to do that on the 21st of November, and we'll see what we get the 28th.
All right. Oh, wow, there's no echo anymore. We're heading in the right direction. Chris,
Can you hear
something.
us now?
Chris, do you want to talk too before I unlock?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Mr. Access.
we hear you.
Could you hear all of us or just Chris?
I heard you, but there was a little bit of a delay, as if it was it was an echo, but like 3 seconds delayed. Say something lasting like 5 or 6 seconds to see if I'm still hearing it.
I heard both Lisa and Kim.
Yeah, let's let Lisa and Kim talk separately just for a second, though.
Okay, we have more technical difficulties because now what we did is I tried logging in and you can hear them, but they can't hear you. So I'll tell you what, I can hear both. So maybe what we could do is just continue, and if they have questions, I can just repeat them briefly. Yeah, will that work for Bob and for the group?
Well, can we hear, was that Lisa? Can we hear Kim talk? So we get one of the other voices there. We're hearing Chris. I think that's Lisa. Sorry. Then what about Kim? Can we hear her? Are we going to be able to hear? We'll be able to hear them give their presentation, but when there's questions, you're going to have to repeat them to them. I understand. We'll make it work. The answer is we'll make it work, but we have to hear all three people.
Okay, Kim, go for it. Okay. I need to unlock to make sure they can hear you. They just wanted to know if they could. Oh, I keep forgetting you can't hear them. They're saying, yeah, they're just saying, go ahead and let Kim speak because we can't hear her, so hold tight. Next time, hopefully when I lock down, it will be for keeps, and I'll say so. So can you hear Kim?
We cannot.
No, we can't. Susan's right.
Thought we did well, no.
Okay, we're keying back up to see if you can hear Chris. Whoops, and Lisa has brain damage and just let up on the key, so please do that again, Chris. Oh, please no. Okay, so can we hear Chris at all?
No, we do not hear him.
Okay, one more test. Can we hear Kim and Chris? Can you both just say something briefly?
I just heard your microphone.
Oh, I'm hearing echo.
You're hearing an echo? A bad echo?
Yeah, echo and lag. I hear myself.
I heard all three of you that time.
I think there was a bit of a lag, just very slight, but I don't know.
Okay, can we live with it? Are we okay?
Let's try it.
Dialogue,
All right.
multi-line, blank.
So, anyway, we'll attempt this again. I was just saying that everything we have by the end of the year is going to be daisied, and a large portion of what we have currently in terms of the audio tutorials are already daisied. And we do that because it's just a nice intuitive way for those of you who use apps or software or daisy players to be able to intuitively navigate excuse me, within the product and find, or within the tutorial, and find whatever is most useful for you at any given time. So we really like to make that available for you guys, and especially just because it's something unique and not a lot of people necessarily do it. So it's definitely something that we like to do. In terms of what I've been playing with lately, there's a lot going on in my world in terms of things I'm creating. The bigger project currently has been the Apple TV tutorial, which is 4th gen. And there's going to be some compare contrast with the 3rd gen. There's going to be everything from what it is, why you might want it, to set up various apps you may want to use, 3 different ways of setting it up. And admittedly, I stole that from Jonathan's fabulous book on the subject and thought, I have to show this and demo it. So if you have Jonathan's book and you want perhaps an audio intro to learning the Apple TV or deciding if it's something that you might want, then something like this could be useful. Now, this is not finished yet. This is in current production. So I'm hoping this will be done by the middle of November, perhaps sooner. That's a pretty generous release date, saying middle of November. I'm actually hoping it will be done quite a bit sooner than that. It's garnered a lot of interest so far, for which we're very happy. And knowing me, it's probably going to be at least 4 to 5 hours. So it's going to be a nice, chunky tutorial. In terms of smaller projects, I have recently done 2 tutorials on a couple pairs of really neat Bluetooth headphones. The less expensive pair of headphones is by a company called eCandy. And they're very light. They're quite comfortable. They have the NeoSpeech Julie voice in them that does almost all the prompts. Only one prompt seems to be a different voice. So you will know when you have powered them on. You'll know when Bluetooth is connected. You'll know when something is not paired any longer. You'll be able to know when you've switched modes. It has actual physical buttons on the side on one of the ear cups of the headphones so that you're able to switch through modes. And when I'm talking about modes, you are able to use Bluetooth 3.0. You're also able to connect a wire 3.5 to 3.5 millimeter cable, which is detachable. So it allows you, how oftentimes you'll get a pair of headphones and a year later the cable shorts out on you and you've just ruined your pair of headphones and can no longer use them without great difficulty or one ear. You're not going to have to worry about with these because you've both got the wireless option through Bluetooth 3.0 and you also have a wired option via the detachable 3.5 millimeter cable. The other thing that's nice about these is they have an FM radio mode, and it doesn't work really well for me because I'm out in the middle of nowhere, but it does work well for other people, and especially if you live in a larger city or a metro, you should have absolutely no problems whatsoever in terms of being able to scan, pick up stations. The other thing I really like about these headphones is that it has a micro SD card mode. So you can actually put a micro SD card in full of your music or your books or whatever. Obviously, you can't put Bard books on there, but you can have a wide variety of stuff that you listen to via an SD card. And again, it has to be a micro SD card. But again, all the prompts are very accessible. The tutorial that I've done for this is almost an hour long, just about 58 minutes, I believe, without the intro and the ending. So it's very, very detailed, as I attempt to do. Sometimes I can't see the forest for the trees when I'm creating these things, but I kind of hope people like more detail than less because that's kind of how I tend to create, and people seem to find that useful. So that's pretty exciting. The headphones are available now. You can also get the tutorial separately from us. So if you want to go on Amazon, buy the headphones, and then come back and buy the MP3 version of the tutorial or get it on an SD card from us, you can do that. The tutorial by itself is $15, and generally our smaller tutorials are $15. And if you want an SD card shipped to your door, that's an extra $10 that you would pay for that. If you want to get the headphones and the tutorial directly from us, it is, and Chris can correct me here because these just went up, I believe it is $45.
Yes.
Excellent. So that's the eCandy headphones, and they're really cool. I'm quite excited to share those with you. We have another set of headphones that are also Bluetooth and wired, and the 3.5 millimeter cable for these is also detachable. And these are probably my favorite headphones that I've ever had the pleasure of having. And they're from a company called Senti, and these are the B-Trek H10. And all this information is up on the website now, so you can go check it out if you like. These are so comfortable and so cushy. The sound quality is absolutely fantastic. These are both over-the-ear headphones, just so you know, and they both have some noise isolation. these Sentis, they just feel luxurious. I mean, I've experienced hundreds of dollar headphones that I've tried out, and really, to my way of thinking, and I'm speaking as a musician who can be a little snobbish about such things, the sound quality on these for their price range is absolutely phenomenal. It's really, really good. I don't know if I'd necessarily put them in Bose quality in terms of sound quality, but very, very close. If you know the quality of the Shark speaker, for instance, that Bob was speaking about earlier that we carry, think that in terms of headphones. So you can get these, you can use these wired with the detachable 3.5 millimeter cable, or they have Bluetooth 4.0 as well. And the tutorial that I do for these is just under 45 minutes. I think it's about 43. The headphones have I think it actually is leather in terms of the cushions for the ear cushions and also for the band. The band is padded. It's just extreme comfort. Oh, and I forgot to mention that both sets of these headphones, these and the eCandies, are both foldable. And the Senti headphones also come with a hard shell carrying case. So they're really very, very nice. And once again, with these, you can get the tutorial separately for $15 or $25 if you want it on SD card. And you can get the headphones with the SD card shipped to your door for $75. So we're quite excited about these. One of the gentlemen here was asking before we began about the Avantech transmitter receiver that we have. In both these tutorials, I discuss how to hook that up with these both these sets of headphones. So that is in each tutorial. And so this is a way, for instance, if you're a stream user, that you can connect your stream to your Bluetooth headphones. So it's quite fun. I actually very much enjoy doing that myself because it's just a nice way to be able to use your products in tandem with one another. So I'm going to stop for the moment and turn it over to Lisa, who has been doing some very brilliant work for us. I can't tell you how excited I am about her newest upcoming project with us. I'm doing the final edits for it now, and she can tell you more about that.
Well, my desire to do this tutorial came out of my own search. I had been thinking for some time about getting an Apple Watch, and I kind of had no clue why, because I hate talking watches in general. I would much rather use a Braille watch. But the more I learned, the more I was intrigued. Learning about the Apple Watch is really not that easy right now. There are podcasts that have been done on it, and some are on older versions of the watch operating system. Some are on older versions of the watch. And so things change, and they may just be minor things, but they've changed. There are no comprehensive guides with everything in one place. And so what I've had the pleasure of doing is creating the tutorial that I would want. If either I were buying an Apple Watch or if I had just gotten one and wanted to learn how to use it. And I think all of the tutorials are great for this because really they provide you with two options. One is if you're going to get an Echo or an Apple TV or an Apple Watch, you're talking about an investment of money. And if you buy the tutorial first, it's a win-win situation because if you listen to the tutorial and you decide, okay, I really want this product, it's kind of like you got the product with a user guide that you can use, but so much more because it demonstrates things. You hear the Apple TV, you hear the Echo, you hear the Apple Watch. And if you decide after listening, I really don't think that this particular piece of equipment is for me, then you have saved yourself money. So either way, the tutorials I think are a great thing to purchase. This one the recording is done. The editing is in process. We hope to have it available for sale mid-November. The unedited version is quite long, so we don't even know for sure yet how long this thing will be, but it's going to be a good size tutorial. It's going to be fairly comprehensive. There are 25 sections, and it walks you through everything from setup to changing the bands. It tells you how to turn off a specific feature so that you don't unintentionally have a lovely chat with your local emergency services personnel. I did this, and I comforted myself by saying, I'm not really as dumb as a box of rocks. I just did this so that I could experience what a potential new learner might experience. It didn't help, really, but I tried. But anyway, we talk about turning off settings and customizing things. For example, one thing I really don't like about talking watches in general is that they're too chatty. And with the Apple Watch, I really can customize it so that it will just speak the information that I want. Or if I'm in a meeting and I don't want it to speak at all, I can tap it and have it vibrate the time. So if you remember the Tison vibrating watches, this is the same basic thing and the same price point, but it has a lot more information. I also talk about 3 groups of people who might benefit specifically from having an Apple Watch. And, you know, some of that, I gained that information by talking to other people who have them or who are ordering them and finding out why. And there are some very compelling reasons that you might want to have one. So that's pretty much what I have to tell you about the tutorial. I was excited to plan and to record it, and I hope that if you do get it, that you will get as much enjoyment and as much learning out of it as I did.
Well, you can tell how much fun you're having in the recording process. There's a lot of fun stuff. I've never seen so much detail in terms of the stuff I found on the Apple Watch online. So I'm quite tickled as I go through the editing process and you know, do a little more in terms of the editing to what you have what you've done. So I'm quite excited about it. And just to give you guys some idea, I'm only about section 10, and we're right at about 2.5 hours now. So she said there were 25 sections. You guys be the judge.
Although the remaining, after like section 12 or so, some of the sections do get shorter. But yeah, initially I anticipated that it would be about 3 hours. I don't think that any of us, me included, will ever again trust my ability to estimate the length of a tutorial.
Well, you've just
really
been working with me too long because it's
you just don't know. But eventually you have to say, okay, it doesn't matter how long it is. Do I feel satisfied that I've covered the basics? And I feel like if you use this watch, you may not be a power user of every single thing, but it's going to put you nicely in the middle or above as far as that curve, that learning curve. It will kind of fast track it because it puts everything in one place.
Yeah, and once it's daisied, that's going to help even more because it'll just be nice and intuitive, and you can move through and find exactly what you want where you want it. So those 25 sections, by the time Chris is done daising it, God knows how long it's actually going to be in terms of sections. So yeah, could be fun. But yeah, that's kind of some of the new things that we have. Chris is also working on a really cool TV tutorial that's in pre-production right now. He's done a bit of the recording for it, but it's very, very cool. We're really excited about this one coming out in the next few weeks. Yeah. And that's going to be loads of fun as well because it's a speaking TV that speaks everything from the guide to channels. Setup is completely accessible. Putting it on your Wi-Fi network is completely accessible. It's got Bluetooth in it. I mean, from what I can tell thus far from my end, it seems really, really very cool.
You can even play YouTube videos over the TV, and everything does speak channel numbers, what's on the channel when you flip to it. It's really cool. It's a 32-inch Samsung. I can get the model in a second. Let me see.
Studio, Lisa Silly, Skyport, the Pet Price, document 2 words.
Let's see.
Top of document.
Let's see. The
Samsung UN32J550 XA.
There you go. That's the model number. And
A, N, U, N, G, space, U, N, 3, 2, J, 5, 5, 0, A, F, X, Z, A.
there you go. That's the model number.
That'll be in the tutorial, obviously. So
Yes.
you'll be able to find out more about it.
You can get this TV currently at Best Buy for $279, I believe. So it's not something that's outrageously priced. It's very economically priced, 32 inches. It's really, really nice TV. And I've already recorded like the unboxing of it, and I'm waiting very, very patiently to set it up so I can actually get the first time setup on the recording. But the Google products tutorial obviously had to come first.
And we do have other things in their infancy or that are kind of in planning stages. And my best recommendation to you would not be, don't wait for one of these Tech Talk sessions. You can subscribe to the newsletter by visiting mysticaccess.com. And you can also check out the podcast because new products are announced there. Plus, often we're just playing with really fun stuff.
Absolutely. And we're about to hit our 100,000th download. So we're really psyched about that. That's kind of cool. This year has seen plenty of growth for us, and between the last 2 years in particular. And we're quite excited about that. So come join the podcasting group of listeners. We would love to have you. And if you would like to jot down the email address, you can join the news list directly. And we do send coupons and goodies and discounts and all sorts of fun things to the news list, in addition to podcast announcements and product announcements. It is MA for Mystic Access News, MA News -subscribe at mysticaccess.email. And that's all spelled out. So MA News -subscribe at mysticaccess.email.
And one thing we wanted to announce before we take questions is the Victor Reader Stream tutorial, which was the debut product back in March,
And we debuted it here first.
Yes, we did, of 2015. It is now at the lowest price ever, permanently lowest price, which is now $59 for the download or $10 more for the SD. So we dropped it from $89.99 to $59.69.
And it's kind of more in line now with our products. And we want to thank those of you who were kind enough to pay the original pricing for us, because you fed us, and we appreciate it. And you're welcome to feed us some more anytime you like. But yeah, this is just a little more in line with what we're currently doing, what we're currently offering. And we really are proud of this still, and we want to make it available to as many people as we can, and decided we were going to do this. So we hope it'll put it in price range for more people to be able to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Another very popular tutorial is for the Echo, the Amazon Echo, and it covers all three. So if you're one of those people that's getting a new Echo Dot in the next couple days, and the price has really gone down nicely on that, or if you have a standard Echo, confession time, I still check back in the tutorial if I want to remember how to do something that I haven't done much. So it's not just, when they're talking about games and they say, oh, it was a good game, but it doesn't really have a replay value. Well, this has both. It's a good tutorial, and it has an excellent replay value, especially if you use the DAISY functionality. If you put it on a Victor Stream or another book reader or a Bard player, you can skip through and find the sections that you want very easily, and just narrow it down and find what you want in no time. So that's also another one to keep in mind.
Yeah, the new dots are $50, the new second-gen dots. And for anyone wondering, yes, I will be updating it again with any pertinent second-gen dot info that is different from first-gen dot info. So never fear, it will happen. In addition to all the other updates I have to do for the touch tutorial and the stream tutorial and all these other lovely things. So it will happen. As Lisa said, the best way to find out about upcoming goodies and updates and when everything is ready, join the news list, and or preferably hang out with us on the news list. We are a very low traffic list. It's just the three of us sending you stuff, and we don't send out very much mail, so no need to worry about that. Either of you have anything else before we take questions?
Somebody had mentioned something about the other hardware that you sell. You might want to go through the speaker, some of the speaker options.
Yeah,
Bob
we've
had
got some
mentioned the
Bluetooth
Shark.
speakers. Yeah, we've got the Shark, which is our biased favorite. We just think it sounds awesome. It's very sleek. It looks really good. It's got 7 buttons on it that are very, very tactile. So that's available. We have a little bitty speaker called the Red Pepper, and it's a little round speaker about 2 inches across. And all of our speakers have voice prompts, once again, so you can learn to use them easily. And the Red Pepper has SD, micro SD, in addition to being able to be used as a Bluetooth speaker. And you can also use it as an card reader for your computer. So that's kind of a fun little thing. And both the Shark and the Red Pepper, and I think all of our speakers except perhaps one, have auxiliary as well. Actually, they might all have auxiliary.
Yeah.
I'm having to kind of think about it off the top of my head, but I believe they all do.
I believe they do, yes.
And then we have the iFox, which is a very cool little speaker, and it's a little different because it's a touch panel, but it's a very usable touch panel. You guys remember, I'm a totally blind user of these speakers myself. If it can't be used by a blind user, I'm not going to be doing a tutorial on it for you. So, you know, they're very, very usable. So there's the iFox, which also has an FM radio in it, if that was something that interests you, and SD. And then we have the volume and bass, which is a round speaker about 9 inches tall or something, 7, 9, somewhere in that range. I always say it looks like a tall beer can. And it has flash drive, SD, and auxiliary and Bluetooth, and sounds really, really great. And I think that's all of them. So there's our Bluetooth speakers that we offer, in addition to the transmitter receiver that I think I mentioned earlier. We do offer that, and it comes with a 50 or 55 minute tutorial on the use of the transmitter receiver that you can use with your stream or your other non-Bluetooth devices to turn them into Bluetooth devices and stream them to your speakers or Bluetooth speakers or headphones or whatever you like.
Yeah, every speaker, every hardware that we sell comes with a compatible tutorial to get you started, because there's nothing worse than receiving a product, even if you just buy the tutorial yourself, but receiving a product and not knowing how to use it.
How to use it, exactly. And all these, as Chris was just saying, you can buy the tutorials separately from us. So if you want to go find your speaker or your headphones or whatever at somewhere else, you're welcome to do that and come back and buy the tutorial from us. That's totally fine.
You know, I've been playing with the Red Pepper speaker lately, and it's funny because the price points on these speakers vary widely, but so does what they do. And even with the little guys, you know, there's merit. I mean, the Red Pepper is very rugged. You can use it in the shower. It has a carabiner on it. You could even clip it onto a backpack and annoy your neighbors or whatever. You know, but it's very rugged. I feel like if you know, not that you should try this at home, but if you ran a bicycle over it or something, it would keep on ticking. So there's a lot of advantages, and you can just explore and read all kinds of descriptions on the Mystic Access website.
Yeah, and there are samples too for the headphones and for the speakers if you kind of want to try before you buy a little bit and hear what they sound like. I mean, I know you can only get a slight idea via your computer speakers or your headphones or whatever, but they're there. So if you want to kind of get an idea of what they're like, there are samples up on the website as well. Scroll down, there's a heading called
Attachments.
Attachments, yeah.
I just saw it today.
Yeah, when you get to the attachments heading, just scroll down. You'll see the MP3
Show Lafayette and
press enter on
Lafayette.
it, and you're good to go.
I think Tim does a really good job of going through these tutorials, demonstrating all different kinds of music. So you're not just hearing, this is how it sounds with this style of music. You're hearing it for all different styles, and so I think it helps you to make the most informed decision you can.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my actual Radio Tunes app that you're hearing. So you get to hear all my favorite stuff, which runs the gamut.
Shall I unlock for questions?
Yep, we'll take questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. It's like Christmas Eve or day when you listen to Mystic Access. I'm sitting here. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, my gosh, I want that one. If you have questions, again, many of you know this. If you have a microphone, hit F8 and the letter Q and enter, and we will recognize you. If you don't have a mic, type your question in and hit enter, and Susan, our wonderful screen reader here, live screen reader, will read the question into the record. I guess I'm going to ask one that's going to shock everybody. I've heard Jonathan Mosen do beautiful jobs on the Apple TV. Now it's 4th generation. I guess I'm going to make it simple. What do I get on the Apple TV? Can I get Judge Judy on Channel 2? Is it just blindness programs? Why do I want one versus my nice 42-inch Sony TV, which is up on my wall, and which I have to take down and all that stuff? If you could explain that. Kim, I think you're working on that. Tell me why. What do I get from the Apple TV? The price isn't bad. That's not the point.
This is me forgetting that in order for Kim to answer, I need to actually lock the key again. Sorry about that.
And to tell me what the question was, since I can't actually hear it.
Oh, I thought you could. I thought it was to the point, though, that you could hear them. Okay.
I was for briefly, and now
Yeah.
I
All right.
Sorry.
Well, this I'll start to field, and I think you'll get enough of an example from it. And then Bob is basically asking about the Apple TV and what he can do with it. First of all, Bob, it's not an actual TV.
TV.
The name is kind of a misnomer. It's a little kind of a square box, not too much bigger in surface area than the palm of my hand. And what you will be able to do with it will depend on what, for example, you're talking about being able to watch Judge Judy on Channel 2. If your cable service is supported, which most people's are, I happen to live out in the boonies and mine is not, but most people's are. So you can connect it to watch cable programs. You can watch Netflix, YouTube. If you have a TV with a big surround sound kind of system, you might also find that you like streaming Apple Music from it. Kim, you can probably cover that more, but my main concern was when he said, you know, I'd have to take down my perfectly good Sony and put that up. No. You would use it in conjunction with your TV.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm like Lisa, I can't sign in with any of my cable channels generally because I live in the middle of nowhere and have a cable service no one's ever heard of. So I can sympathize and empathize with those woes, but generally, you know, if you have Comcast or Charter, some of the bigger ones, then that won't be a problem. You can actually sign in through apps and watch your shows accessibly via your Apple TV, so that is something. You can watch YouTube videos. I mean, there are apps. I guess there's still apps being added pretty frequently in terms of what you can watch. I watch a lot of PBS programming through my Apple TV and love that. Now
Documentary
with the 4th gen.
junkies.
Sorry?
Documentary junkies unite.
Documentary junkies, absolutely, yes, without a doubt. There's a lot of cool apps. There's Curiosity Stream, which I think I turned Lisa on to for more documentary junkie goodness. There's tons and tons of stuff. There's Smithsonian Earth. I mean, there's tons of stuff available. Even if you aren't a current cable subscriber, then you can check out a lot of free episodes and goodies on shows. There are games, but thus far I don't know of any accessible games that can be played via the Apple TV.
Yeah.
There's a lot of radio apps. I use Calm Radio, which I really like, which is completely accessible on the 4th gen. So yeah, there's a lot you can do with it, and I'm going to try, as I normally do, to run the gamut in terms of lots of different things and things you can access and things you can do, and just a series of different types of apps that you can access via it. And what I was thinking a second ago is that with the newest version of tvOS, which is the operating system that Apple uses for this puppy, you can change your voice. So you can use the Alex voice, you can use Samantha, who was the default previously, or the only one you could use previously. So there's a lot available in terms of kind of.
You can even
stuff.
use Fred.
You can even use Fred.
Can we edit that
I don't know why
out?
you would, but you could.
You know, the other thing that Bob asked was, he said, you know, is this just for blindness apps? And no,
Nope.
it certainly is not, but you can use some of the blindness apps on it. For example, if you have
iBlink.
ACB radio, you could AirPlay that to the Apple TV. The iBlink app, which is now Sero, there is a TV app for that. And I just think it's cool because the apps are basically in a grid on your screen, and you up and down, use the up and down key with the remote, and you could just go through them. In some ways, I think it's even easier than using an iPhone. And if someone wanted to use it, and then kind of decide, am I really into this? It's a good way, almost even like a pre-introduction to the iPhone.
Yep.
The other thing is most people hook them up to their TVs. I don't, because I can't change HDMI ports independently on my TV. So I have mine connected to my stereo, which works out well for me.
And another really cool thing, I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
mean to
that's
step
it.
on you.
Just because I don't need to see the screen.
Yeah, and on that note, oftentimes I will turn my TV completely off and hook my Apple TV up to a Bluetooth speaker and just use my Apple TV and carry my speaker around the house. So that's kind of epic. You can save energy and use your Apple TV. If you're not using it with sight anyway, who cares? You can just listen to it and enjoy it and have all of those lovely experiences. So it's a cool thing, and I agree with Lisa in that it might be a really good iOS intro in many ways. And if you're really crazy like she and I are, you can make folders of all your apps, and they can hang out on your Apple TV. So you can have your news apps, you can have your music apps, you can have your movies apps, and throw them in folders of your choosing, name them whatever you want, and get really just super organized.
Because it's very easy then to find what you need.
It's very easy, yes.
Yeah.
One nice thing about the Apple TV, before we find out other questions, is you can turn on video descriptions.
Yes.
So if you have iTunes, if you have any movies that you get from iTunes, they will automatically start playing the video description. I did that with The Force Awakens, and I bought it through iTunes, started playing, and it was the coolest thing because I didn't have to do anything with DVD menus and all that other stuff. The video description just started playing.
Frozen has it too, and you'll get to hear it in the tutorial.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I know I'm going to buy the tutorial. I will do that, I promise. Okay, Susan, do we have other questions, please?
We have several questions. Let's stick with the Apple TV for a minute to start. And we have several questions, but I will get to you, so be patient. Larry asked, how do you get cable channels on the Apple TV? We have the same problem with the HDMI port as you do, Lisa. So is there any answer that any of you can provide this for him? Thank you.
Okay, Larry asks 2 questions, and one is how can you, well, the one I can field, I think it's fairly simple, and we have a lot of questions apparently.
Okay.
The first question was how you sign in with your cable, and basically what you'll have is you'll be able to go into the TV app store and get like the Time Warner app or the Comcast app, that kind of thing. And then you would enter your credentials that you use with your cable company, and then you would have access. Uh-oh, my mind is going. The second, they're also having trouble with the HDMI port issue. Obviously, I did not find a workaround for that. Any suggestions?
I'm lucky because my remote has different buttons for each HDMI, which is good for me. Is there a way maybe to program it to a universal remote that, I mean, you might have cellular assistance to have to do that, but then perhaps a remote that actually had different buttons for each port and you just know which one is which? I don't even know if that would be useful at all. Sounds like it might be more trouble than it's worth.
Might not be, though, especially if you watch a lot of TV.
Yeah, that's true.
Great
That's
idea.
true.
We don't watch.
Okay, can we have another question? I know we have several.
Yes, Larry said you weren't hearing me. Are you hearing me now, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, I think this was covered, but for clarification, I'd like to ask Vicki Bond's question. She asked about, does your tutorial cover all of the Echo products, and does it talk about what each one of them does? And Vicki, if that's not asking your question like you want it, send more to me and I'll try again.
Okay, first Chris had one more comment. I accidentally unlocked the mic too early. So he had a comment. Let's finish with that, and then we'll go with our question.
I just wanted to mention about that Samsung Talking TV that kind of issue would not be an issue because you have a source button and it would automatically speak what you are, HDMI 1, HDMI 2, HDMI 3. So that would definitely not be an issue.
Excellent. Okay. And Vicky Bond asks if the Echo tutorial covers all of the Echo products and how to use them. Susan thought this was covered before, but that's our question.
Yes, Vicky, yes, indeed. And what isn't covered now will be covered as soon as I get my dot and can do some updating. So yes, the tap, the first gen dot, and the Echo are covered all in orientation. And then anything that you can do with any of these products, or with one product, you can do with any of them, essentially. So once you kind of are oriented to what lives where in terms of working with each product, and the dot and the Echo are just similar. The dot is kind of a miniature of the Echo, so she's just a little mini Echo in terms of her button placement and everything. So it's quite simple to learn to use those two in conjunction with one another. And then I discuss the tap and show you the sound prompts and what it's like and how you would use it. But in terms of actually doing things on them, they all work the same way. That will also be the case with the second gen dot, except for she's just a wee bit smaller than her first gen sister. And I think there may be a couple other differences. I'll let you guys know at the weekend. But yes.
And the $50 thing, is that first gen then? What did I buy? Second gen, Kim, the $50 one?
I'll take the liberty of answering that just because I know we are running out of time. Bob, it would be, okay, what happened was they had the first generation dot and then they discontinued it. And then they now have the second gen dot, which is supposed to be a little smaller and slightly lighter. So that has come out, and so when you buy an Echo Dot, unless you're buying one used from someone, the only thing you can buy is the second gen. And my answer pretty much summed up the question. Either of you have anything else?
No.
Nope.
Good deal. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Susan, next question.
Okay, Jenny wants to know if you can use the Echo Dot independently of your computer.
Okay, I missed the person's name. We had a little bit of breakup. But the next question was, can you use the Echo Dot independent of the computer?
Yes, if you have an iOS or Android device. So to do the initial setup, you'll need one of the three. A computer, where you can go to alexa.amazon.com or echo.amazon.com, takes you to the same place. An Android device where you can download the app, or an iOS device where you can download the app. You will need that for initial setup, and it is cool to have that for activating skills and perhaps finding some stations and things like that in terms of music listening, viewing your Audible library, some of these stuff that you don't necessarily have to do on it, but that you can if it's stuff that you enjoy. So it's good to have one of the three for navigational purposes and kind of making your life a little easier. But if all you want to do is play your favorite Pandora station, once you get it initially set up, you will, as I said, you will need one of these options available to you. Oh, Kindle also works, so you can use Kindle OS, Fire OS, I think is the official term for that. And so if you use any of those to do the initial setup, if all you want to do is like play your Pandora and ask her for the news and ask her for the time, once you have the initial setup done, you could, in theory, do it.
I rarely go into the app.
Yeah, Chris doesn't use the app very much at all. I tend to use it relatively often just because I like to find kind of obscure stuff. But yeah, you don't have to.
I would say 90% of the time I do not.
Sure.
Again, it's preference. I mean, you could, especially now that you can enable skills directly from the Echo, I don't go in nearly as much as I did.
Yeah,
I do know of situations where someone maybe was a senior and they didn't have computer skills, and a son or a daughter or whomever came over, had the app on their phone, set it up, and once the setup information was entered, the person was pretty well fine to do most things.
Okay, but you do need Wi-Fi. I think I'm correct there. So let's be really clear, because he said without a computer totally, and I want to make sure, we do need Wi-Fi. Anyway, he'll correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, Susan, next question.
Let's go to Joni next.
Hi. I am currently going to get the new Echo Dot, and do I need a separate speaker for it? I gather that I do, and I don't know what speaker to get. I want something that's relatively inexpensive, but that has good sound, and I just don't know what to do because my sister's getting it for me for my birthday, so of course she put the request in, so I guess I'll get it soon after the 20th. Well, my birthday's not till December, but I guess I should have a speaker and also your tutorial too. So also, what is the cost of your tutorial?
Okay, we have for your consideration a nice compound question. First, to clarify a point that Bob made, yes, you do need wireless. If you have an Amazon Echo and you do not have wireless, basically you're going to have a pretty round paperweight, and that's about it. Joni is getting the new Echo Dot for her birthday. Her sister's getting it. And she says that she heard that you need a speaker with it. She's not sure what to get as far as quality and wants to know also about the price of the tutorial. I feel like I could field some of this, but like I've been yakking enough, so let me just pass that question on as is.
Well, Joni, if you're going to listen to a lot of music on it, yeah, you probably do want an additional speaker. But just to clarify, the Dot actually has a speaker in it. So it's kind of small and it doesn't sound really awesome, but it does have some pretty decent volume on it. I mean, you can turn it up. Like, we all have Dots.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So it's not terrible. You can even listen to music on it. It's just not going to sound awesome.
Sounds like maybe some kind of a transistor radio from like the 90s.
It's better than your phone, though. I mean,
Right.
in terms of
Yes.
sound quality, it's absolutely better than your phone. So, you can listen to music on it. So, yeah, if you want to get something additional, you certainly can. In terms of what we offer, if you want something with amazing sound quality, we always recommend the Shark because it just sounds great. And, you could certainly utilize something like that with it. The tutorial for the Echo tutorial is $39. And it's 6.5 hours as of now, but it's probably going to get longer when I update it again because it was originally 6 and now it's 6.5. So it's $39 and then $49 if you want it on SD. And a good rule of thumb to remember with us is if you want an SD, just add $10, and that's for shipping. In addition, shipping to your door is included in that $10 for the additional cost. Yeah. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think that's it. I've used mine with and without a speaker. I think if you're listening mostly to speech, like audiobooks or something, because you can listen to Audible and Kindle, and the text-to-speech is pretty good. And for that, I wouldn't really feel the need for a speaker. But for music, yeah, kinda.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, next question, Susan.
Next is Albert.
Yes, good evening, Chris, Lisa, and Kim. I'm just curious to ask, on that Samsung TV that you mentioned, tutorial, let me ask you this, does it work as well as, let's say, a Comcast set-top box would if one had that? And could you also please repeat the model number of the TV? Because I heard it through Tek Talk and it didn't quite come out as well as it would have if you hadn't spoken it. So if you could just repeat the model number, it's interesting. Thank you.
Al, I got the part about the model number, but there was some breakup. Could you repeat the beginning part of your question, please?
Yeah, I was just asking if the Samsung TV that Chris mentioned, the tutorial, is it, well, maybe the tutorial doesn't have it in it, but is the TV itself as user-friendly or as usable, let's say, as if you had, let's say, a Comcast set-top box, which Comcast has, but we don't have because we have Time Warner here, unfortunately.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Okay. There were two questions from this gentleman, and he wanted to know how the Samsung TV compares to the Comcast set-top box, if you have any experience with that. And also he wanted the model number repeated because he couldn't really understand it very well through Tek Talk.
Okay, to answer the first part, no experience. I have Verizon Fios. We don't have Comcast here. The model number is U as in uniform, N as in Nancy, 32, J as in Juliet, 550, A, F as in Frank, X as in X-ray, Z as in zebra, A as in apple. And that's it.
And probably before we actually release the tutorial, something will go up in the podcast feed so you can kind of hear a snippet of what this TV sounds like. I mean, we don't want you guys to be buying this thing cold and not know what you're kind of getting into. So I'm sure we'll have something up, either a sample of the tutorial or Chris doing a little demo or something. So stay tuned to the podcast if that's something you're interested in.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay, next question, Susan, please.
Martin Nelson.
Yeah, hi, good evening. When you spoke about the two headphones, headphones, you didn't mention if the more expensive one, which I assume it probably does, if it has the speech input, and also how would one connect either of them to the Victor Reader stream?
Okay, Martin Nelson asked about the headphones, and he had two questions, and the second was how you would connect them to the Victor Reader stream. And I believe what you would do is, since they both are Bluetooth and wired rather, you would either plug them in with the wired cable, or you would use something like the Avantech transmitter and connect them via Bluetooth. And the other question was, he asked if the second set, like the first, had speech input, but I'm assuming in this case that he means speech output, like if they're if you get verbal cues.
Yes, I apologize. Yes, you absolutely do. It's a female voice. Actually, we think she's the same voice that's used in our Shark and the Shark speaker that we carry. So yeah, it's very, very clear, precise, nice prompts.
All right, next question.
Next is Hamid.
Okay, we're not hearing you. We're hearing a hiss.
Oh, sorry about that. My mic got shut off. I switched it off to not waste battery while I was waiting. So anyway, have you guys ever considered doing anything for the Macintosh to refresh? Because yes, there used to be podcasts, but they are old. There's nothing for whatever Sierra, for instance. You know, I mean, they're all Snow Leopard or whatever.
The question was if you've ever considered doing tutorials for the Mac, because there were podcasts way back for the first few versions of the Mac, but nothing that is up to date.
That is something we are considering, but we have a slight problem. We don't have Macs to do them on. So my Mac Mini is so old that in order to do the Google portion of the tutorial, it took probably 2 hours to record because it was way too slow, and there was a lot of editing done in that section. So.
Okay, how many more questions, Susan, please?
Two. One of them, if I can figure it out. Just a minute. One of them, this one is from Chica, and he asked, I think this is what he means, is there an Echo for Android? And then he asked, how much are the tutorials? And I don't know which tutorials he means.
Okay, the next question was, is there an Echo for Android? I'm assuming he means the Echo app.
Yes.
Yes.
And there is. The Echo itself is not specifically iPhone or Android. It is based on Amazon products, and the app is either iPhone or Android. He asked also about the price of the tutorials, but he did not specify which one or ones he meant. However, in general, tutorials for the hardware that we carry, the Bluetooth transmitter, the headsets, the speakers, are $15 or $25 with the SD card. And then I'll let Kim or Chris give the other tutorial prices, but in situations where we haven't set a price, that's because the tutorial is not out yet, and so sometimes many factors go into determining the price, and one of those is length. So the price is not usually determined until the tutorial is complete.
Yeah, Echo's $39. The new Google Docs, I don't know if we mentioned the new Google tutorial for the Google Suite, is $39 as well. That's currently available now. Others are, we've got other stuff up on the site that we haven't necessarily discussed tonight. We've got TW Blue, the Twitter client. We've got stuff for the iOS apps for voice stream reader and writer, and Lisa and I have bounced the idea back and forth of doing mail, the third sister, and we have not made any final decisions there. So prices can be on the found on the site for all those. My brain probably won't allow me to give you correct pricing info for everything at this second, or you're welcome to give us a call and we can discuss anything you're particularly interested in, or send us an email.
Okay, last question, Susan, I think.
I have one too, and then mine will be the last. I think what Jenny is asking is, are commands included in your tutorials for Window Eyes as well as JAWS and NVDA? And I think you said they were. I hope that's what she's asking.
Jenny's asking if commands are included in the tutorials for JAWS, Window Eyes, and NVDA.
The commands that are relevant, yes, but the tutorial is focusing on Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets. So those are universal commands, and absolutely those are given. I think the only command for JAWS, NVDA, and Window Eyes is actually given is how to turn off their virtual cursors, because that is pretty darn important when utilizing the Google suite of products, because you are working within the web browser. So Docs is not something that you install on your computer. You go to docs.google.com or drive.google.com, which is what I do for the most part in the tutorial, is go to Drive and then launch the doc from the Drive, which then opens the docs or slides or sheets in a different window, and of course it's all web browser based. So those are probably the only screen reader commands that are given. There are given some Chromevox commands, because I don't think too many people are familiar with Chromevox. There's even a little demonstration within it on how to navigate a web page with Chromevox and change, because it's not using your down arrow key and your up arrow key like that. It's doing other things. It goes by groups, words, lines, characters, and that. And you change the granularity as you go along, and that's what happens. The arrow keys in conjunction with Chromevox, they move. So that's why those commands are really given, where it assumes that you're familiar with your screen reader commands, but again, they're not really necessary.
Yeah, in general, for our tutorials, I'm thinking of also TW Blue, which is a Twitter client, and I'm thinking of the parts of the Echo tutorial where you're on the computer. We try as much as possible to give general Windows commands, and people think, oh, well, if I do Windows M to go to my desktop, that's a JAWS command. No, it's not. It's a Windows command. It will work anywhere with any screen reader. So we try to use as many of those commands as we can that will work in any situation with any screen reader.
Yeah, that way it's more generic.
Yep,
Exactly.
it's easier for everybody, and it also makes it really nice, because if you're switching between screen readers, or you find that you have to do that, then your skills, your knowledge is more transferable.
Okay, Susan, last question, please.
Thanks, guys. I think that got her question answered really well. And thanks for this wonderful presentation. Now my question is a very elementary one, but I don't know. What is Google Sheets?
Okay, Susan has the last question, and she thanks us first for the presentation, and says admittedly that her question is a basic one, but she wants to know what Google Sheets is.
It is the Google equivalent of Excel. So Google Docs is the equivalent of Word, Google Sheets is the equivalent of Excel, and Google Slides is the equivalent of PowerPoint.
Well, Mystic Access team, you guys are great sports here this evening. We got it together. We want to thank you so very much. And I want to give you the final word to give your phone number, your website, and turn us loose to buy your products.
Bob thanked us for coming and wanted to give us, in his words, as best I can paraphrase, the last word, giving phone number, contact information, and, quote, letting us loose to buy.
Well, I'll take this, I guess, and thank you guys for dealing with our technical woes. Have no idea what's going on. We've never had this happen. So thanks for hanging in there with us. We appreciate the opportunity, as always, to share with you guys what we've got going on. And you can contact us by visiting the website, which is mysticaccess.com, mysticaccess.com. You can call us at 716-543-3323. And just so you know, you can order via phone. So that's definitely an option if that's something that you would be more comfortable doing. We can take care of you. And you can email us, and that is info, I-N-F-O, at mysticaccess.com, and you will reach Lisa and Chris and myself at that email address, so one of us can get back to you swiftly.
Anything else from you, Chris?
I just wanted to thank you, the Tek Talk audience, again, and Lisa for stepping in and basically emceeing this.
It was good fun. It's always a privilege to be here.
And I just want to say that all of these podcasts that we hear are so helpful. Tek Talk provides the opportunity of interacting with speakers, and we really love that. That's why it's been such a successful program over these past 11 years. Thank you so much, you guys. Next week, Eric Damery and Jaws 18. You're a marvelous audience. The room is yours, and have a great week. I may be slow at getting this one out because I'm going away tomorrow morning at the really crack of dawn. It will happen, so be patient.
The preceding podcast is a presentation of Mystic Access, where the magic is in learning. To contact us, please visit www.mysticaccess.com. Call us 716-543-3323 and press 2 to reach our Mystic Access podcast comment line. Email us at show@mysticaccesspodcast.com and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/mysticaccess. Would you like to spread the word about our podcasts? Please tell your friends and colleagues to visit us at www.mysticaccesspodcast.com. If you enjoy what you hear on our podcasts, feel free to leave us an iTunes rating and review. We certainly appreciate those. Also, you may feel free to use our podcasts in your own RSS feed. Just be sure that all of our contact information is left intact. Thanks for spreading the word, and thanks for listening. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode.